You are with us. It's 10:45. You know what that means. Very, very good morning to you. Thank you so much for having us as your companion. We are, of course, having another edition of Powering Your Future with the Ministry of Industries, Mines and Energy. And today we are discussing economic geology at a much higher level, right? Joining me in studio today is Dr. Abner Nghoongoloka, who is a Chief Geoscientist, that is at the Ministry of Industries, Mines and Energy within the Geological Survey of Namibia. Now, Dr. Abner has recently completed and graduated in March. That is this year, not last year, not 5 years ago. It's 2025. That is with a doctorate in economic geology. I have many, many questions, but I'm glad he's here because, today is going to be a great chat, right? Now, the first chapter of his thesis while pursuing his doctorate got recognition and won him the Best Article Award 2024, which was awarded, that is, by the Society of Resource Geology Journal of Japan. So, today, we're going to delve much deeper, that is, in the economic geology spectrum, since we have a doctor of philosophy that is in the studio. Welcome. Good morning. How are you doing, doctor?
Good morning, Sandy. Thank you very much for having me, and good morning to the audience. I'm pleased to be with you today.
Congratulations on your PhD. You know what? I'm beaming in a lot of joy, also because I don't think this is something we get to hear very often. But maybe just to start off our conversation, when we speak about this gentleman called Dr. Abner Nghoongoloka, who's this guy? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
All right. Not extraordinary person.
Okay.
Just like sitting here in front of you. I am Abner Nghoongoloka. I was born and bred in Otakonjele village in Enana constituency, Hangwena region.
All right.
During my growth time, I moved to several villages like Oshangu, and then I spent most of my teen in the village called Echapa, which is in the Pembe constituency, and that's where I'm based right now. Okay. So basically, I grew up as like any other boys, herding goats and cattle every day, and also I was a very skilled person by nature, let's say talent. Okay. I would do doors, I would make chairs. Okay. Yeah, I would make those handcraft, and I can even make those big baskets for Mahangu storage.
Nice.
You know, it's one of those things that I was just born with. And schooling, I started schooling at David Singo. Okay. That time it was called Omtuonjaba Combined School. Then I moved on to a Gambo Combined School and Osamono Combined School in Pembe. Okay. And then later I pursued my high school at Oshela Senior Secondary School in Okongo. Basically, I have been just Ohangwena region boy. Yeah,
practically. Yes. I'm pretty sure some of your classmates are possibly sitting in the car, in the office right now, and they're saying, man, Abner, this guy. It's been a minute, you know, and now, of course, very refreshing to possibly hear from you, and also hearing that you've been at quite a number of schools during your education. I think it's for people who have not seen you in a while or heard from you, I think this is going to be a very refreshing one. Now, you recently graduated, that is with the doctorate. Can you give us a little bit more about this journey, you know, how it was, and where you also pursued your studies?
All right. Just before I go to the doctorate, I would tell you that I did my bachelor and a master at the University of Namibia. Okay. And after that, I had some exploration work experience within Namibia. Nice. So many commodities, including uranium, gold, copper, and silver, and so forth. And by that time, then in 2017, I moved to the Geological Survey. Okay. And then I tried to align myself with the Geological Survey mission, which is to effectively manage the mineral and energy resources, and to promote the industrial development through generation of sectoral knowledge. You know, mark that word, sectoral knowledge, and then that should at least support the inclusive socio-economic development for all Namibians. Nice. So that's why I ended up now looking at scholarship, and I did my PhD in Japan.
Okay.
Basically, what happened, I found the advert of Japanese International Cooperation Agency, which is JICA scholarship. I applied just like any other normal application, and also at the same time have to apply at the university, which is Akita University in Japan. So after that, I then decided to follow up as I was successful through series of interviews, and then through the scholarship and also the university, and then I had to do what we call bridging course, because there's a language barrier, you have cultural differences. So I had 6 months of just doing as a research student in Japan. And then after being a research student, I subsequently end up starting my PhD in 2022. So basically, I started PhD in 2022, April, and I completed in 2025, March. It's 3 years. It was like 3 years of crazy work, up and down, doing some sample analysis, coming down to Namibia, fetching samples from Kaukau land, and go back to Japan, analyze them in the laboratory, and also writing up some articles. So,
of which some of those articles became very fruitful because you were awarded that one. Well, of course, we'll get to that. But also just to base it on today's conversation, we are looking at economic geology. What is economic geology from the perspective of a doctor of philosophy?
Economic geology is a broader term, very broader than what we can define here right now. But I will simplify it in one or two statement that it encompasses the discipline of geosciences that pertain to exploit or extract, and also a production of the mineral resource for the use of economic or at least for industrial development. Yes.
All right. Well, in a bit, he is definitely going to tell us about his thesis, which I'm really looking forward to, and of course, what it's centered on. And that award I was talking about earlier, we're going to get in on that. Keep it locked.
Namibia's energy future is bright, driven by innovation and our commitment to sustainability. At the Ministry of Mines and Energy, we ensure affordable and reliable security of energy supply. With goals anchored on renewable energy and diversifying our energy sources, we're building a resilient future focused on harnessing the power of nature. From our cities to the most remote villages, powering industries, uplifting communities, and fostering economic growth. Harnessing our resources, powering our future.
And you are with your Feel Good station, George Benson with Lady Love Me, or you might know the song as One More Time. I'm your host, Shante, not in the studio alone. Today I'm joined by an individual who describes himself as an ordinary individual, but I think he is pretty much a very determined gentleman, very humble at heart and very driven as well. He is a chief geoscientist at the Ministry of Industries, Mines and Energy. His name is Dr. Abner Nghoongoloka, who is, of course, joining us and sharing in on that is his latest achievement in terms of his doctorate in economic geology. Earlier, we got to touch on what exactly economic geology is, and he said, listen, I can give you a little bit of an understanding, but if I have to get into the deeper part of things, we might need an hour in terms of that. But I also want to get on to your thesis. Talk to us about your thesis, what it's centered on, and also the award that you received.
The thesis is mainly titled Characteristics and Genesis of Copper, Lead, Zinc and Silver Mineralization in the Kaukau Belt, Kunene region in Namibia. So not anywhere else.
I see where you mentioned earlier you had to come to Kaukau and go back to Japan, all right?
Yes. So in that thesis, I addressed the mechanism and the controls that has to deal with the mineral accumulations or concentrations of certain elements in this term, we are talking about copper, silver, cobalt, and sometimes gold.
Okay.
In the villages in the Opuo area or Opuo district, like such as Omatapati, Otwani, Epungue. I also talk about the area of Okohongo and also Okalikwa, which is just about 15 kilometer north west of Opuo.
Okay,
yes.
All right.
And, this perspective, I did analysis of the samples and go in deep, detailed explanations of what they can find there, of what type of mineralization they were looking at, and what metals, commodities that are available, and whether they have a potential to make a bigger mine. Which is, of course, shown in the thesis. At some extent, it can be.
Right.
For example, like Omatapate.
Okay.
So,
go ahead.
On the award, one section in that thesis is actually on Omatapate, like I mentioned. I did submission of the abstract, and then it was published in the Resource Geology.
Nice.
So after the publication, that was September 2024.
Okay.
I thought that was a done deal, and I had to graduate. You know? And after graduating, coming back to Namibia in 2025 March, then I received this notification: your paper has been selected as the best article for the 2024.
Well done.
So
Congratulations.
I have no much idea what was going to happen, and I'm pretty sure this is some vigorous kind of criteria applied by the committee and the board of the Resource Geology Journal to pick out that paper.
Congratulations to you. Like I mentioned earlier, a very humble individual, and you just displayed that by saying, I thought I was done. I was just waiting to get the conferment, and then comes that award. So congratulations. A quick one before we get to our news. You've acquired this knowledge now, right? How will it then benefit the ministry and Namibia at large?
That's a very important question. Because for me to take up this PhD study, first I look at the mandate of the ministry, which is to promote industrial development and to manage geological mineral and energy resources for inclusive socio-economic development. To do that, you have to have a skill and understanding of what you are dealing with.
True.
First, you look at the mission, which or the vision of the ministry, which is to have a dynamic and at least sustainable industrial-based economy driving value from the Namibian natural resources and for the benefit of all Namibians. So that means you need skill to make sure that this vision and the mandate are confined and they are going at the pace at which they are needed. So skills of research is the basic requirement and very critical to the ministry to make sure that we have capability of carrying out research and we have quality assurance through such skilled people. And it reaches the international standard to show what we are doing is actually in line with the development of the globe, not just of the country.
I think it's a great approach to look at it that way also, simply positioning yourself in contributing not only to the ministry, but also the larger part of what the ministry does for the country. I'm in a class today and I'm picking up quite a number of nuggets there. That's Dr. Abner Nghoongoloka, who is a Chief Geoscientist at the Ministry of Industries, Mines and Energy within the Geological Survey of Namibia, giving us an insight on that is his journey of acquiring that's his doctorate in Economic Geology, but also just sharing in on now that he has, fulfilled that academic quest. What does that mean to, the ministry as well as Namibia at large? We touched on that. We've got more, but first your news.
Namibia is at the forefront of a clean energy revolution, harnessing the power of green hydrogen to industrialize and create jobs for Namibians. Green hydrogen is produced using our abundant renewable energy, wind and solar. Namibia's natural resources are our great competitive advantage. Green hydrogen emits zero greenhouse gases when used to power industries, trucks, ships and trains. It's the key to a carbon-free future here in Namibia and around the world. The Ministry of Mines and Energy is committed to developing this new green hydrogen sector, creating a sustainable tomorrow for Namibia, harnessing our resources, powering our future.
It's Justin Timberlake with a song titled Mirrors. Still with us at 99 FM, your feel-good station. A very good morning to you once again. In the studio with me, Dr. Abner, who has recently completed and graduated in March this year with a doctorate in Economic Geology. Joining me for, that is, the Powering Your Future segment, proudly brought to you by the Ministry of Industries, Mines and Energy. Today, we are tapping into, of course, his journey of accomplishment, the Doctor of Philosophy in terms of his economic geology journey. But we also touched on, what his thesis was centered around. He also got to narrate how he thought, when I finished, I thought I was just done waiting to be conferred my PhD. But then it also turned out that his hard work had earned him an award that basically focused in on his article. Well, now I want us to get into another part of, I think, our conversation. A very good opportunity for me to also just touch in on what are some of the measures that need to be implemented for Namibia to realize the full potential of its resources economically.
In terms of a country and the Ministry of Mines and Industry, Mines and Energy, what is basically needed is, first of all, capacity building.
Okay.
So mostly in terms of research, when you have people who are capable of carrying out research and knowing exactly what's on the ground, they should be able to tell what value and quantity that is likely to be there.
Okay.
It positioned the government at large to evaluate properly, even in the allocation of mining licenses, exploration licenses, because now this is, if the deposit is that large, it needs how much, and that will employ how many people in the community. Yeah. And then to do that, you must be very well capacitated on how to evaluate mineral resources that you have. For example, in the Kunene region, that's one area that has been more neglected.
Okay.
Most of the Namibian mineralization, copper, silver deposit, and zinc have been studied.
Okay.
But Kunene region was one singled out, mostly because maybe it is so rural, but there's so much potential.
Okay.
So we need to do that. The other thing is that also we need to acknowledge collaboration research.
Yeah.
Since in terms of facility, we are not so equipped as a developing country. But we have partners, for example, Japan, where you can at least collaborate and have that opportunity to use their facility to our advantage. Yeah. And we can get those data and whatever equipment we can use and use such a result to interpret our own resources.
Okay.
And the other thing is also to have an understanding of value addition chain.
Yeah.
Before you talk of value addition, you should understand what is involved in that chain.
Yeah.
So we should know, we should start at least with uranium. That's a mineral resource.
Yeah.
Have use of it as an energy.
Yeah.
Why can't we add that value, make energy, and that energy will then multiply our value addition by making copper into wires,
Yeah.
Because you need energy to have this industry running to such voltage that can purify copper and melt it to draw wires, So we need to have that understanding.
Yeah.
So therefore, I would recommend those two: capacity building and also local research.
Okay.
implementation.
Through collaboration.
Yes.
All right. Also, how can communities benefit from natural resources in their surroundings? I mean, there's something that you spoke there that really had my attention, and you're like, when we speak of value added, think about using uranium to melt copper, and this copper, we can then have our copper wires. Something that I think Africa, or at least developing countries, don't have as a stage of production. But that's a good direction. Now, I want to bring it back into communities. How can, our communities then benefit from the natural resources such as those that you've mentioned?
Yeah. To answer that question, just when you look at around surrounding area, what we call small-scale miners, you find pits here and there.
True.
This is actually not just small-scale miner as a term.
Yeah.
These are entrepreneurship.
Okay.
The person who is doing small pits is actually digging that mineral and is making money for their family, and is feeding the community.
Yeah.
And at the same time, this creates employment for whoever is working in that. Is actually getting, that's employment. It is indirectly even contributing to the revenue of the country.
True.
Small-scale miners supply copper that's being used in the smelter in Tsumeb. That smelter, when we export, then we are getting income as a country, not even an individual.
Yeah.
This is actually already a business on its own. Small scale is that important.
Yeah.
So we need just to guide them, and that is their benefit.
Okay.
In addition to that, whenever exploration companies are coming, and mining companies that are operating at larger scale, this is a massive income that we get on export. Unfortunately, we don't have so much value addition, but even if we dip deeper into that, we will get more benefit than what we are getting now. And also, it is create employment. Not just that, it creates settlement. I will give you an example of Tsumeb town. I'll give you an example of Rospina, and even Uy settlement. Those are mining-centered towns.
True.
They are basically developed by the capital generated from the mines. So basically, the same scenario can happen in Kunene. You may have another town to open up just because there's a bigger deposit. And then, boom, you will no longer have the very rural, neglected Kunene area.
I must say, the Ministry of Industries, Mines and Energy is a great place to have you. You're mentioning of so many things that I think sometimes one would think you can only imagine. But also I love that you brought it into our everyday reality, of how, if we speak of value added, let's look at a point in time where we can melt copper and have actually copper wires in our production. And I think that's just one of many things. And it really took me to a space where I'm like, this is just one of many things we can, incorporate. And again, we are very proud of you. Congratulations. I'm very, very sure, that your achievement is definitely one that's going to work over time. Sometimes there are scenarios where you get the achievement, you get that accolade, or you get that certification of some sort, but somehow it doesn't really produce the extended results. But in your case, thank you so much for going the extra mile, not just for yourself as an individual, but also wanting to contribute intentionally, that is, to the land of the brave. So before we do then let you off, maybe just some final words from your side.
Well, from my side, I would just say I would encourage local research development.
Okay.
We should have collaborations, even between ministries, where we can come up with research, and it should be content of the reality, where people understand there is a common ground to achieve. We should not just wait to read articles that was produced in Germany, but it is talking about Metros copper mine in Windhoek.
Yeah, true.
But the authors are always foreigners. Let's have hands-on that we should develop our local research. Then we are able to confirm whether what was published, was it correct? Or is there some misinformations? So we should be able to even audit the quality of the data that are being disseminated to our public.
True.
Yes.
True.
And I also would like to inform the public that the thesis is currently a closed document.
Okay.
It will be open in April 2026.
Oh, okay.
So the public will have access to that.
Yeah.
You can get a copy when it is open via the Ministry of Industry, Mines and Energy Library.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, it is the end of our edition of Powering Your Future with the Ministry of Industries, Mines and Energy. And that is Dr. Abner, who, of course, picked up on that is what many would wish for. And if you are on a quest of that nature, a gentleman who presented himself and said, listen, there's nothing extraordinary about me, but one thing for sure is that you got to have will, you got to have drive and determination and have your country at heart. He is Dr. Abner Nghoongoloka, who of course got to share in on his latest when it comes to the doctorate in economic geology. Well, until next time, that brings us to the end of this edition.
Feel good on 99 FM.